Hi everyone.
Yes.
So welcome everyone to the Borough Board. Hope everybody's few days off is okay. If you're lucky enough to have the last 2 days off. Today's Borough Board meeting is going to talk about the Housing New York Plan and also the citywide ferry update. We have Shampa here first, so we'd like to actually just change the order if we can and put you up first, if that's okay. Mayor de Blasio announced in July that the city financed creation and preservation of 20,325 affordable apartments and homes during fiscal year 2015. That's a very lofty goal, so hopefully we'll find out today how it will be achieved. So may I introduce Ms. Chanda from HPD. She's here to give a presentation of the plan.
Thank you very much, Borough President and members of the Community Board. My name is Shampa Chanda from HPD. I'm here to give you a brief overview of the Housing New York Plan, which was initiated last year, and want to also kind of give you the broad overview of what the plan is about, where we are, and specifically in relation to Queens. I know you want to know what it has done in Queens. So with that, so the Housing New York, it's a comprehensive plan, and the purpose of this is to build or preserve 200,000 units of high-quality affordable housing over the next decade. The plan will create opportunities for New Yorkers with a range of incomes from very low income to middle income, and this is also to foster diverse neighborhoods in our city. Now, why do we need this housing plan? What are the issues? The key factors affecting the current housing crisis that we are in is that there is an increasing gap between the rents and the income we all earn. In addition to that, the growth in the neighborhood, the population growth, it's a nice healthy increase, and we expect that there will be even more increase in population by 2014. The marketplace demand that is there, the market is not able to meet that demand, and let alone for the new new population that we're expecting in the city. So there is a little bit of a gap, not a little bit, quite a bit of gap between the supply and the demand that we have currently today. In addition to that, there is a limited supply of affordable housing. Despite the amount of investment the city has made towards affordable housing, it is still not able to address the housing need for the eligible New Yorkers for affordable housing. And there, as we call, is a rent burden. There is over 55% of New York City household is rent burden. That means more than 30% of their total annual income, household income, is going towards rent, and that is considered in housing term a burden to the household, because instead of that money going towards the rent, the house, should the rent be affordable, then that household can use that rent towards its other needs or other family obligations. So just as I was saying, while we have seen an increase, there was a big jump in housing production in 2013. As you can see, the number of building permits that were issued was about 35,000 in 2008, and there was a slump. And we are slowly kind of coming back. As of 2013, DOB had issued 18,000 units. Still then, there is a gap between the supply of housing and the demand for housing. And as I mentioned, the population of New York City is rising. We are at 8.2 million. It is expected to go up to 9 million. So keeping pace with the population increase and the housing demand is critical. So the question is, how is this plan going to address this housing crisis that we are facing now? And I won't go through the key components of it. I just want to dive right into the specifics. The key features is, as I mentioned, is to build or preserve 200,000 units of housing in over 10-year period. We anticipate, it is estimated, the total development cost to produce this total number of housing, build or preserve this total number of housing of 200,000 will cost about $41 billion. And we want to use the city subsidy that we are working towards to facilitate and leverage other funding sources. So of that, $8.2 billion is through direct city housing subsidy. And using this city housing subsidy, we want to leverage other funding sources, including federal, state, and private funding sources. And a lot of our HPD's housing programs typically is done in partnership with federal, state, and private partnership. So we've envisioned that there will be an even more collaboration and use that opportunity to generate and preserve affordable housing. Of these 200,000 units, typically the split is 60% of the units would be preserved, 40% would be new construction. In addition to that, we also are working towards providing greater number of extremely low-income housing units for low-income households and also moderate-income households. So the question is, how are we, and this is just to kind of give you a breakdown of how that would be done. And what I want to emphasize specifically for the borough of Queens, the median income is somewhere in the range of $57,000. So that kind of falls in the range of, it falls in this range, the median income. But there are households in Queens ranging the whole gamut, and the plan is to address the housing need for all the household types that we have in our city, in each of our neighborhoods, and trying to match the neighborhood needs and goals as best as possible through this housing program. So what we have accomplished thus far, and I just want to share these numbers, these are really healthy numbers. We did not expect to reach this. As of fiscal year 15, which starts from July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015, we have financed 20,326 units, which is more than what we were working towards. We were anticipating we would be able to hit about 16,000, but we reached beyond that goal. And of that, over 40% of these were towards new construction. So typically, like I said, our split is 60-40, but this time we exceeded in the new construction, which is really a good sign also. While we need to also preserve new housing stock, preserve the existing housing stock, we also need to build the supply of new housing, and so this is a very healthy number. Specifically in Queens, as part of this, from January 2014 to June 30th, 654 new housing units have been built and 800 units were preserved. So this is a total of about 7% of the total units that we closed in last fiscal year. I think we need to do better in Queens, and we are definitely working towards that, and we need all your cooperation to help facilitate that. In addition to that, we have updated all our financial term sheets, and I don't want to get into the details, and the purpose of that is to basically, as I said, we have this whole range of income targets that we are trying to address, and the new term sheet is to will facilitate us to target these various income groups that is representative of the neighborhoods that these developments are going to be financed. And we have also made some changes within our agency. We have created a new division, Office of Neighborhood, where the emphasis is working with neighborhood groups through community-based planning, and our division is part of that office. And the other interesting part is that we have launched this Build Opportunity, a multi-pronged initiative aimed towards minority and women-owned business enterprises. We're in the process of releasing a request for qualification for MWBE developers. We also had a training program for NWBU so that they become well versed with the housing financing and how affordable housing is built in New York City. We had a very good turnout, and it was so popular that we actually have, I believe we have started a second enrollment, which is going to start in the fall. So definitely do share this information with your, if you know of any developers in your community board that would qualify for NWB, please do let them know and inform them of this opportunity. So in terms of the next steps, we still need to, as I mentioned, we have only met about 7% of the total housing in Queens of the FY15 numbers that I project that we have closed. We need to do better in Queens. There is a need for housing in Queens, and we all know that. And so we are trying to build up a pipeline of city-owned sites that we will be issuing RFPs on as of now, we have only issued 2 RFPs in Queens, one in Community Board 7, and we have selected a developer for that, and there was one in Community Board 2, and we have a developer selected for that. So we are in the process of developing the pipeline, and hopefully we will have more lined up in Queens. And of course, the RFPs are issued on city-owned sites, so we are trying to identify more city-owned sites, not just HPD-owned sites, but other city-owned sites that would be viable housing opportunities. So again, if you know of any other sites that you think would be interesting, please do flag it to us. We also will be launching the Green Preservation Program. This would be for existing housing, to ensure that existing housing are more greener in the way they are maintained. This is to also ensure not only a healthy building, but also in future the maintenance cost of these buildings will come down, which should be reflected in the expenditure and the rents that tenant is paying. And I think those are the main highlights I want to share with you, and I will be more than happy to take any questions that you all have.
Board 5.
So these are all city-owned sites, and you're asking a developer to propose to develop on it. Would they be leased the site, or they would be given the site free of charge to develop on it?
So specifically for sites that we issue RFP, HPD issues RFPs, and there are other agencies that issues RFPs also, but specifically for HPD projects, these are city-owned sites, and we dispose these sites at a nominal price to the selected developer. And the purpose of that is to ensure that we can achieve deeper affordability, longer period of affordability on these sites.
Okay, so that's a ULURP process.
It goes through a land use process for disposition.
And then
yes.
Based on the numbers, you're lending or giving them 20% of the cost?
It varies from program to project to project. There
Is it
isn't
a loan or a grant?
It's a loan. It's a 30-year. These loans are typically for 30-year period.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry. HPD also finances private sites. So any developer who wishes to build affordable housing, we also work with private developers to provide affordable housing. We actually have quite a robust set of affordable housing being built through partnership on private sites in Jamaica. There are actually a series of them that we are working on, so that's kind of an exciting period for Jamaica.
One more. So have you refined the levels of affordability? It depends on the area, the community, the county, and so on and so forth. What you have, you come up with current figures of affordability in these different communities.
That's a good question. So the way the affordability is determined, and I'm going to throw this terminology out there, it's called the area median income. This is determined through federal. Now, we have heard it in the past that what the area median income of New York City is not representative of at the community level. So one of the purpose of these term sheets was to allow for much more expansion of these these affordability ranges that we are trying to target, so that it is representative of that community's income profile. And so we are able, through these revised term sheets, we are able to we are able to target affordability ranges that are more at 50% of area median income, whereas, you know, the typical AMI level is at, you know, I think it's 86,000 for New York City, whereas as the HUD has identified, 100% area median income is 86, whereas in New York City is somewhere in the 50s, and in Queens it's 57,000, as I mentioned. So, you know, so these various term sheets allows us to address the much more diverse income ranges.
Maybe when you break it down by SMA, it even gets varies greatly, even in the same neighborhood, because of the different income and the different SMAs. Thank you.
I think though that, correct me if I'm wrong, what the chair is trying to get at is how are you determining the AMI for a neighborhood then? Is there, I mean, 60%, 40%, 80%, 100%, I assume that you have a plan, right?
We typically, again, the housing is for New York City, and we do have, as of now, and I think people know that there's a litigation